All right, we're here in Nashville with Autumn. Thank you for being with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We've been asking everyone this question. How did you get into provider compensation?
Yeah, it's an interesting path. I actually started in provider recruitment. Um, Within my first year or two, I was in provider recruitment. Naturally, just became the person that everyone within my organization was going to about physician comp and contracts and fair market value. And then there was some leadership changes going on in my organization at the time. So the individuals that were doing it prior to me exited, and I naturally just became the go-to and asked my leadership team to make it a full-time gig, and they supported me. Before it was a known position in organizations about 8 years ago to have a comp team. They supported me in that, and it's just grown from there.
Excellent. So that's really cool. When you come home from night, what does your family think that you do?
Oh gosh. My kids just know I work at a hospital, and I explain to them that I'm not seeing patients. that's really that baseline. My family, though, they have a general understanding of what I do with physician compensation and that there's compliance involved to it, but extremely high level. It's my husband even sometimes is like, I don't understand a word that you just said. So.
I think that's the common theme. I hear everyone saying that.
To where I just give up. I'm like, yeah, never mind. So how was your day?
I understand that you're building your team there. You focused a lot on kind of building your physician and provider workforce.
Yeah.
You've got the recruitment background.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you're focused on in the next 12 months to help build your team and get the support you need and resources you need to accomplish that?
Absolutely. So it was just me for the first 3 years in my role, and then I was able to hire a specialist who's been great. Got even bigger. We were doing a lot more internal analysis, did a whole comp policy and procedure guideline within our system that helped all teams, including operations, my team, legal, and the executive team, all be aligned on what the process looks like and where our guardrails are, to where it allowed us to do more in-house. So I hired a second specialist as well. So really developing to do more in-house and really be the internal experts through the AAPCP, doing a lot of our credentials and really building a team that's the industry expert internally within our health system. So within the next 12 months, my focus is really developing my team further in their industry expertise, and also really looking into value-based models from a cost containment and increased efficiency perspective, as well as I'm in a more rural area, so that's cost and efficiency are big focuses.
I love that. I'm hearing training and education for your team, others in the organization, and value-based contracting there. What's been your approach on value-based approach? Is there going to be more focused on aligning that with physician compensation model design there as well?
When it makes sense. We're primarily fee-for-service, and in a smaller community-based health system, talking a lot about got to align your modeling with your revenue. We can't take a drop in revenue, so we really have to be very careful and execute almost perfectly when we align our comp plans. So primarily still fee for service, but when we slowly dip our toes into value-based models like primary care, where we're part of an ACO program where there's an actual shared savings, then that allows us to take a step in that direction without making drastic changes to our comp plans that could incentivize and disincentivize kind of the opposite of how the health systems reimburse for services. So
That's excellent. Is there any other areas besides primary care that you're focused on for value-based contracting?
yeah, probably our hospitalist team and ED for appropriate throughput. That's always a big focus, and ED specifically. The market post-COVID was kind of shifty, so we've kind of got to a good baseline to be able to focus on that from a throughput perspective. But in hospital medicine, the same. Again, post-COVID, everyone's coming out from a really hard few years, but got to get back to focusing on efficiencies and what's best for patient care.
That's excellent. Is there a specialty or an area that's kind of bubbled up in the last 6 months that's given you a little bit of heartburn?
Yeah, I think GI is a tough one. It has consistently been a tough one to recruit in our region, but also we have we're a large capture area in our region. We're not necessarily in an underserved area, but our entire capture market is an underserved area. So very high volume of patients that need endoscopy care, with very few physicians in the area providing that service, but there's very sick patients. So very high acuity care, with very few physicians that are able to serve that. And obviously recruiting on a national scale, we're talking about physician shortages. So talking someone into coming to Southeast Ohio is not the easiest thing. So really making sure our recruitment incentive plans are competitive, and also for the long term that they're providing that consistency for the health system, that we can retain those physicians long term as well.
Excellent. I hear there's a physician shortage. I think a lot of folks are struggling with that. Has your team also been seeing more growth in the APP market and CRNA as well?
Yeah, absolutely. CRNAs, that's another big focus of ours, as I'm sure it is a lot of others. Looking at our staffing models with CRNAs and our anesthesia infrastructure is huge. And again, balancing what's best for patient care and what's best for the health system from a workforce development perspective. It's a constant balance.
Well, Autumn, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate your sharing your insights there. So safe travels back home, and thank you.